When I was young, I fell in love with football. Whether it's the great life lessons you learned or the amazing friendships that will last forever. My sophomore year, I was thrusted into action at center after the center that was currently in succumbed to an injury. It was 2nd and 10 when I first made the snap. I misheard the quarterback and gave up a sack. It was now 3rd and long, but my previous mistake no longer mattered. That's a great life lesson that I carry with me every day. You cannot let a previous mistake dictate your future decisions, and that is something that I learned that day. Football has given everything to me, so I decided to give back to it. For my senior project, I was a defensive assistant coordinator for the 8th grade Bow Youth Football varsity football team. My name is Teddy Feifel, and this is my senior project. If you have a goal in mind, you can achieve it. It's a matter of working hard every single day, day after day. It's a mindset. No matter what you think, you can achieve it. Every day when I went in as a coach, I had many different responsibilities, and I had to put time into many different aspects of the team to be successful. Our goal was a state championship. One of the most important parts of being a coach is ensuring your players' safety. There's nothing more important than ensuring day-to-day safety in tackling, especially with all the recent reports with head injuries, neck injuries, knee injuries. We spent countless hours watching videos on form tackling, keeping our heads up, and ensuring overall safety on and off the football field. My day-to-day responsibilities included watching game film of our upcoming opponents, watching our previous games to see what we did correctly and incorrectly. I also scouted other teams when we were having an off day, often traveling to places like Laconia or Hollis Brookline to get a view of our upcoming opponents. An important aspect in life and to running a good football team is ensuring that you have a personable relationship with each of your players. I think our team had a very successful relationship with one another on and off the field, showing up early to interact during and after practice, and being able to coach each kid at the level that they need. Some kids responded to, "You're doing a great job," very well. Other kids, when you told them they were doing a great job, thought that they were perfect and sometimes gave you less effort in other ways. Sometimes a kid needed to be told that they weren't doing a good enough job, and they'd work 10 times harder till it was perfect. It's judging the personalities around you and ensuring that you had a player-to-coach relationship where they felt they could come to you with any problem, including problems outside of football. There was many times where I'd have to talk to some of the players about their grades, help them outside of school with homework or any life struggles at home. And that is where being a good coach comes into play. So I was the defensive assistant. I'll briefly touch on this. We ran a very basic 5-3 defense, although a lot of you probably don't know what that means. But the main thing that I taught defensively was being able to adjust to anything that came up in any situation. That is another important life skill that is taught through the game of football. Being able to adjust to anything that's thrown at you in the workforce, anything that's thrown at you in your home life or the football field or in school is extremely important, and one that I think this Bow Youth football program teaches very well. Our season started off a little bit rough with a recent tragedy on September 10th, the day before our scheduled kickoff. It rattled through the entire team, my high school team, the team that I was coaching, and it was hard for us to push forward. Our first game got canceled, morale was extremely low. People showed up to practice questioning their decisions to keep the season going because we were all so heartbroken. But what they did was absolutely incredible. They pushed forward, winning our first 5 games and destroying competition home and away. We finished our season with a 7-win, 1-loss record, with the #1 defense allowing the fewest points per game in the league, the fewest yards per game in the league, and earning the #1 seed in the Granite State Football League playoffs. I could not have been more proud of our regular season. But as many of you know, sports comes down to how you do in the playoffs. The first round of the playoffs, we were facing Laconia at home in the semifinals. where we soundly won that game 34-8. I wasn't particularly happy with how we played that game, and I told the team point blank, I know that you can play a better game than that, and they agreed. And that is another life lesson that was learned through football. So what happened in the end was a 28-0 state championship win. We held the #1 scoring offense in the league to 0 points, and it was one of the most amazing feelings as a coach to see your team, which set out for a goal months before, work every single day to achieve the ultimate goal. Although our goal was totally undefeated, we did lose one game, they still reached the ultimate goal of a state title. I learned a lot through this process. I learned how to work as a team with coaches and other players. One of the hardest aspects of this project for me was working with coaches that sometimes were upwards of 30, 40 years older than me. Having to debate different things that we were going to put into our game plan and talk with one another about how we wanted to approach each game. It was hard to advocate for my ideas just due to the fact that they were so much older than me. And I also learned how to pay attention to little details on the football field, off the football field, which is another important life lesson that I never thought I'd learn coaching. If you don't pay attention to every detail in your workforce and you make a mistake on a project, you could lose your job. If you don't pay attention to details when you're playing defensive football, you could give up a touchdown and lose the state championship. And that's something that I wasn't expecting. I wasn't expecting to learn valuable life lessons by being a coach, and I was very excited to do so. I'd like to thank Dr. John Wheeler, Carl Brown, Sean Mullen, Tim McCurley, Harlan Hutchinson, Charlie Roberts, Sean Lover Sr., and Bryce Larrabee for all of their help along the way and for giving me the amazing opportunity of coaching these amazing young men. I'd also like to give a huge thank you to the players for helping me every single day to learn the youth football. I only played 1 year of youth football. It's different than high school. And for giving me everything that they had every single day, no matter the mood, no matter the weather, no matter if they were hurt, they were there. Whether they could participate or not, they gave me every ounce that they possibly had, and I am forever grateful. I'd like to thank you all for giving me the time to present my project to you, and at this time I'll open up to any questions.
Awesome job,
Thank
Teddy.
you.